The robotic missions to Mars have provided amazing insight into the planet's history. But that was only the beginning. Someday you might explore the planet yourself. So what would you wear for a trip to Mars? Well, scientists are already working on that very question, in a place you might not expect.
If you're on Earth, which most of you I'm thinking probably are, you're right there. This is space, except generally space is black in color, not white. It's the only figure I had of space. And we're out here somewhere on Mars. Actually, we're not really on Mars. We're kind of pretending like we're on Mars today. We're actually here in the Gulf of Mexico. We're following a ground track down south out of Houston towards Mexico and then back up to Houston. And we're in NASA's KC-135 aircraft. The hurricane recently went that way, and we're down here. We went the other way. That's a good plan in general. If the hurricane goes that way, go the other way. It's NASA's little safety tip for the day. The KC-135 aircraft looks like this when it's in flight. It flies parabolic flight paths over the Gulf of Mexico to simulate different degrees of weightlessness. Normally we use this aircraft to simulate the weightlessness that you would feel in the space shuttle or a spacewalk outside the space shuttle or the International Space Station. Like a spacewalk like this, it's be a good place to test out a suit in this zero-gravity plane. But a spacewalk on the space shuttle is not really a spacewalk at all. It's more of a space float. The suit was never designed to walk in, so the lower torso doesn't have much mobility. You just float around and you pull yourself along handrails. When we go on to Mars, however, we're going to want a spacesuit that does a lot of things that a geologist can do. You're going to want to walk around on the surface, take a hammer and break rocks and pick at rocks, and then you're going to want to be able to pick rocks up and bring them back with you. If you ever go to Mars, that's a very important tip. Don't forget to bring back the rocks. It's like the first thing you learned at astronaut school. If you're stopping by Mars, don't forget the rocks. If you forget the rocks, you probably won't go back. You also want to be able to drive a buggy if you're going to get yourself around the surface like the astronauts did on the moon. You're also going to want to be able to pick yourself up, because if you fall down on Mars, there's really nobody around to help you. And that little Sojourner robot that we sent out to kind of scout out the surface is not big enough to help come along and give you a little lift. You don't want to have to call back to Earth and say, I've fallen and I can't get up, and oh, by the way,
I'm on Mars. As in Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars? Listen, if you get to Jupiter, you've gone too far, okay? Houston, this is EV1. Do you have a jack?
That's a negative, EV1. Go fish.
I hate that, always have to go fish. What is the number for 911? I can never remember that.